Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew with me, Graham Hughes, here on Labour Social. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of April, 2023. And this morning, it's going to dominate the news, I guess, all day today. So let's get into it. We're going to be talking about the arrest of one Donald J. Trump. Yes, and the J stands for genius. He's a very stable genius. So listen, if you want to make fun of Trump, if you want to make fun of a guy who was the president of the United States of America, feel absolutely free, because that's what I'm going to be doing for the next half an hour. Oh my God, yesterday was hilarious. Not just for the fact that the number of people in the press who were there outnumbered the protesters who were there for Trump. Not just because Marjorie Taylor Greene was there, and she was hounded out of New York by a guy screaming, "Get him with the space lasers!" It was fun. I guess you had to be there in a really strong New York accent. Like, "Get out of here, you animal!" Literally from Home Alone. "Get out of here, you filthy animal! Send the space lasers! The space lasers! God, you better run!" It was very funny. And then there was a classic moment, and if you've not seen this, you really should look it up. It's only a couple of seconds long. But the officials of the court walk out the door with Trump behind them, and the official doesn't hold the door open for Trump, and the door closes on Trump's face. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And he looks a bit upset. But the best bit so far, the bit that's had me giggling my silly little head off, I'm just going to play you the audio because I don't want to bring it up on the screen because A, it's a bit technical. B, you don't need to see his face. We see it enough as it is. But yeah, this is what he said. I love this. So listen, coming on.
Never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
If you're wondering, if you're thinking like I did, oh my God, that sounds familiar. That's because it is. It's from The Simpsons. It's said by a character in The Simpsons, okay? And I'm going to give you a minute. We've got Cathal here, we've got Nick and Diff, we've got David and some others. You put in the chat who you think, which Simpsons character said this. "If it is a crime to love one's country, then I'm guilty." Who said that in The Simpsons? Oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh my God, he really is a cartoon supervillain. He is the worst. But he's been charged now with 34 separate counts of forgery in business, which is something they take fairly seriously in America. But what's really interesting is that it's kind of a misdemeanor. It's not like something that could really realistically end you up in jail. It's not a felony offense typically, but if it leads to a greater crime, then it is. And here's the kicker, boys and girls, you don't have to prove the greater crime. That doesn't have to go to court. It just has to show that you facilitated a larger crime. So these bank details. So what's basically happened is he's paid off hush money to a bunch of people, not just Stormy Daniels. There was a Playmate model. There was a guy who was a doorman who knew about one of Trump's probably many secret love children. And basically they were all getting paid off through Michael Cohen. And that's not a problem. Weirdly enough, in American politics, you can pay hush money. That's fine. In fact, you can be a criminal. You could be in jail, in a jail cell, and still be the President of the United States. And still run for President of the United States. Kind of crazy, I know, but that's the way they like to run it. That's the way the Americans like to roll, and I think that's wrong. I believe in second chances and everything, but while you're in jail, oh come on, or while you're standing trial, and this is again something I was talking to Josh Russell yesterday on the Agenda Live, and if you missed that, that's available on this channel. Just go over to the channel at LabSoc, and then if you go into the spit out, Graham. You go into the live section, you should see the agenda. Actually, no, I've put it into a playlist, so there's a playlist there called The Agenda, which is on. But yeah, we were talking about the fact that the right get away with this kind of thing, whereas in the left, they're held to a higher standard. And that's true, they are. And that's why I want Labour in this country, because we will automatically hold them to a higher standard, because all the tabloids are going to be out to get them, all the people who didn't vote for them are going to be out to get them, and all the people who voted for them are most of the richest and most powerful people in the country. So they won't be able to put a foot wrong, right? Whereas on the right wing, you can do whatever you like. So the problem is that Trump has paid off these people, but not that he's paid off the people. He put it through as a business expense. That's the big problem. So, you know, when you go out with your mates and you've got, I don't know, you're at a conference or something, you've got some money to buy a couple of drinks and you think, oh, can I put this on expenses? Oh. Well, he did that, but unlike you buying a couple of pints of Peroni, he spent over $1 million on hush money or fees to his lawyer to pay this hush money. And put it down as a business expense. Therefore, it's tax deductible. He paid less tax because he paid this hush money to people, which he shouldn't have really done in the first place. But that's not that big a crime. The crime is defrauding the great state of New York. But oh my God, what a circus yesterday. What an absolute circus. So people were like, I was a bit of a letdown. We wanted to do a speech before he went in. I preferred just glimpsing the horrible orange turd just for a few moments, looking with a face like thunder, which is great. And so what's transpired is that the DA of New York is who's pursuing this case. It looks like that the charges that the grand jury has found enough evidence to go to trial over. Or at least have an indictment over. He could have pled guilty and then there wouldn't be a trial. But it all looks like open and shut stuff. It's stuff that's already been proven in a court of law during the Michael Cohen trial. And also, I guess there's other stuff in there as well, which they very much see as a slam dunk. Don't forget, Michael Cohen is thrown in jail for, 18 months or something for the same crime. Literally for the same crime. So it's already gone to trial. It's already been looked at and they're gone, yeah, you're guilty, mate. And I think he got away with a plea bargain or something. I don't think that Trump is going to do time for this. But the trial date is set for December, so we've got a bit of a wait. But in the meantime, the way Trump's acolytes have been behaving has been quite grotesque, as you might have expected. And we've seen the spectre of Donald Trump, I think Eric Trump and some other clanging bellend, putting a picture of the judge's daughter online on Twitter, on True Social, I think, and Twitter, I think. Basically to intimidate the judge, which is a huge crime. That's a crime. That is a crime. If you did that or I did that, we would be arrested. The police would kick our door down, tear gas the house, and drag us off and throw us in a cell for the night, take our fingerprints, take our mugshots, and we'll be arraigned before a magistrate in the morning. But no, the millionaires, the billionaires, oh, we got to let them, we got to let it slide. You know, rich people, they do that kind of thing. No, we got to stop tolerating this stuff because it is damaging our society. How can you have trust in the justice system if it's not justice for all, it's justice for the people who aren't mega rich? That's wrong. And anyone who's complaining about, oh, well, you know, what if we put Clinton on trial? I'm like, yeah, great. I don't like Bill Clinton very much. I think he made some errors, well, let's put it mildly, while he was in office. And also, you know, he lied under oath. He did lie under oath. If he went down for that, I would have been like, well, okay, he lied under oath. And like I said yesterday when we were talking to Josh, like, you know, if someone on our side does something horrible or something that is illegal, I will drop them like a hot stone. Why would I defend them? Why would I? They've committed a crime. You know, I might say, oh, you know, well, still like the old movies. But no, you know, there are people I can think of who I really respected in the past. I mean, Rolf Harris. I grew up with watching Rolf Harris's cartoon time. I thought he was great. And then we found out that he was having these relationships, trigger warning, with children. And it was like, no, I don't want anything to do with this guy anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can go to hell. I'm not going to go, oh, well, you know, these are trumped up charges, really, because I liked watching his programs when I was a kid. No, it doesn't work that way. You know, the blind loyalty, this maddening kind of like, no, they could do no wrong, my hero. It's painful. And whether it's put in the direction of Trump or Corbyn or Boris Johnson or Russell Brand or Pete frickin' Doherty 20 years ago, I'm old. Stop putting these people on pedestals. If they mess up, if they do something horrible or commit a crime, drop them. There's another 8 billion people on the planet who probably haven't committed a crime and are quite nice people. Better people to hang out with. Anyway, I've been told I should calm down and stop being so animated. So I might jump into your messages and I'll take a more relaxed approach. I can't help it. I was born this way. Screaming and shouting and pooing my pants. The Franco Puny. Even Republicans who are critics of Trump, such as Rick Romney, claim Trump was treated too harshly. They need to realise this is simply the first of 3 or 4 likely arrests. Excellent. National Day of Celebration, says David. Don't disagree with that. Homer, Mr. Burns. David, you are right. It was Mr. Burns. If it is a crime to love one's country, then I'm guilty. It goes on to say, and if it's a crime to steal $1 trillion from our government and hand it over to communist Cuba, then I'm guilty of that too. And if it's a crime to bribe a jury, so help me, I'll soon be guilty of that. Oh, the golden age of The Simpsons. Anyway, the trial starts in December, says Nick and Diff. I think I said that. Freckle Puny, Marjorie Taylor Greene has compared Trump to both Christ and Mandela as they were both persecuted. The woman is slightly angrier, Madine Doris with a gun. Yeah. This woman has said that if she had organised the January 6th attack on the Capitol, in which 7 people died, I think 7 people died as a result of that attack, she said that if she had organised it, they would have all been armed. They would have been armed. That's what she said. Don't at me. That's literally what she said. They would have been armed. And she's still a member of the House of Representatives in America. Wow. Now, I heard something really interesting, that how difficult it was about how to strike a doctor off the medical register. Just because of the historic links to, the doctor profession and the way that the then Labour government had to force through the creation of the NHS and get doctors who were very, very well paid on their side. One of the things that they said is, we'll make it really difficult for you to be kicked out if you do anything wrong. Like if you mess up a routine surgery or something like that, it shouldn't be the end of your career, and we'll make sure you're insured and all this kind of stuff. But which you kind of get. I mean, it is a bit unfair to have a surgeon who performs life-saving operations every day for 30 years and then messes up once. And that one mess up, obviously that's going to destroy someone's life, but also it destroys the surgeon's life. So I kind of see that each case has got to be taken on balance, and whether it was a history of malpractice and all that kind of stuff. But the headline is this: the worst serial killer in British history. Well, I say worst. I mean, I'm the worst serial killer because I've never killed anyone. The best serial killer, the most effective serial killer, the serial killer who killed the most people, right? Harold Shipman. He was a doctor. Now, he was only in jail for a couple of months because he killed himself. But before he did, he was still on the medical register for quite a few weeks while in jail for murdering up to 1,000 people. He was still on the medical register. He was still signing repeat prescriptions for his patients in Hyde. I'm not messing that up. And this is how difficult it is to strike someone off the medical register in the UK, for example. And we seem to have the same thing with politicians. In the olden days, like the 90s, I remember politicians were caught with their pants down. They generally resigned, especially if they were a minister. They'll say, I'm going to go to the backbenchers. If they were already a backbencher, they might resign as an MP, and there might be a by-election. Because of a scandal, because of sewage, because of sleaze. That's the word. Oh my God, those 3 words just sum up today's Tory party. That is scandal, sewage, slurry, and sleaze. But yeah, they used to resign. Now they don't. And this is really bothering me. Because if you mess up in work, you steal out the till, you don't do a good job, you will get the sack. And especially with people working 0 hours contracts, they can sack you any time, any place, anywhere. They don't even need a particularly good reason to sack you if you're on a 0 hours contract. If you're a contractor, they can drop you like a hot stone. I like that expression. I'll use it again. If you are a renter, the government has now made it easier for landlords to throw you out the house. To throw you out of the home in which you've lived for years because they don't like you very much. And they'll say, this is to get rid of nuisance tenants. Well, we have laws in place to get rid of nuisance tenants. This is just a landlord's charter because most Tory MPs are landlords. To make it easier to get rid of people who aren't paying enough and get more people in who will pay you more for your property. Or rather, I should say, to pay off the second, third, fourth mortgage that you have on that particular property while you don't live there, and they look after the place and maintain it so it's not left abandoned. You get a house at the end of it. They get evicted. What a great system we have in this country. I'm a very big believer that housing should be like dinner. You know, you can have seconds once everyone else has been served. Right, is there another Tiffany walking the streets? Maybe. I wonder if they're excited. I wonder if the Trump children are excited to meet their new sibling, their new brother or sister. Mayor Quimby. They took his DNA and found he is part Slytherin, indeed, and Slytherin. Both of them, being those two franchises together. Plum Dove says, when they took, Lee Corn says, how dumb do you have to be to put a bribe on the books? Yeah. Well, no, he was avoiding tax. You see, so his thing is that, see, Boris Johnson and Donald Trump and Nigel Farage, they're not very intelligent. They're very, very low IQ and on, right? They are not smart people. And one of the things that not smart people do to make themselves feel more clever is they get away with stuff. So Trump's big thing was getting away with paying no tax. It made him chuckle that the little people like you and I pay tax on what we earn and what we buy, and he would get all this free stuff for nothing. He would take loans out from banks so he didn't have to pay any income tax on that. He would get capital gains without having to pay any tax on it by moving things around and pretending that his company was making no money when it was, or pretending that it wasn't making any money pretending that it was making money when it wasn't, when he needed a loan. He went through all this stuff to just brag about the fact that he didn't pay tax. That was his thing that made him feel clever. So I'm really clever. How do you know? Have you got a very good degree from a prestige university, or did you just go somewhere that your daddy paid for you to go to and you paid someone else to do all the work? What have you got to show that you're clever? And he goes, well, I never pay tax, so that shows that I'm clever. You see, I've never had to pay income tax on my earnings, and I think that shows that I'm an idiot. Because I should be really rich by now, right? Right? Yeah, I think so, but, I'm not. So I see it as a point of shame, whereas he sees it as a point of pride. But there you go. That's how idiots work. I guess you get complacent. Indeed, the judge warned Trump about this. Would he be held in contempt of court if he continues to do it? I really hope so. It wasn't Bill Clinton who went down, says Lee Corn. They got Epstein and he was stinking rich. Hopefully something similar will occur. That would be good. That would be good. But the thing is, Epstein didn't have loads of, crazed fanatics who absolutely loved him. He just didn't have that. Maybe his wife, maybe Ghislaine Maxwell. But apart from that, there weren't crowds of people who were like, "Oh, I love you," dressing up as just weird things with their stupid red hats on. God, who would wear a stupid red hat these days, eh? Freckle Beanie says they're going after the judge's daughter because she worked for Kamala Harris, Biden's VP, for some time back. Quite pathetic. Yeah, but it's family. It's saying this is the family member, and it's threatening. It's a threatening behavior. It's something that's threatening to do. A bit like when that horrible Julia Heartless Brewer doxed the lawyer Julian Moynihan or Julian Moyne from the Good Law Project, and she's like, she just doesn't care. She's like, oh, but it was in the public domain anyway because you did an interview about the house in a local newspaper 20 years ago. And he's like, yeah, it's not the same as putting it on Twitter, love, to like millions of people to say, here's where that pesky lefty lawyer lives. Who hope nothing bad happens to him. Again, people that shouldn't be on the internet, people that shouldn't be walking the streets, menaces to society. We talk about crime and people getting away with crime, and a lot of people say crime is the most important thing that they care about in society. But we have criminals in charge, and that is why Criminals selling drugs and breaking into people's houses are getting away with it. Criminals raping women are getting away with it. They're getting away with it because we have criminals in charge. And we need to stop this. We need to break this cycle. So I don't know if this is helpful. I don't know if, obviously looking at the comments, I think everyone agrees with me on this one. But it's just one of those things when you're talking to people about who they want to run the country. And I'm assuming that you're not going to hang out with too many Tory headbangers. But if you do, mention the thing about criminality. So we've got people committing crimes, people who lied to the Queen, in charge of our country, people who told us there was going to be £350 million a week for the NHS running the country. They lied from top to bottom, left to right, uptown, square centre. They lied. They absolutely lied. And I can't get past that. And again, if you're talking to people who are on the left, like a lot of us are, and they are having, fits about having to vote Labour in the next election because it'll get the Tories out. I mean, just point out the fact that Labour are a much more accountable party. So if they do things that are wrong, if they had a party, if they had a coke-fueled orgy during lockdown, when we couldn't go to the funerals of our relatives, when we couldn't hold the hands of our own parents or grandparents as they were dying, and he was having coke orgies in number 10 with wine up the wall, with people having sex in cupboards, with broken swings, going down the offie and filling up an entire suitcase full of booze. This was all going on while we weren't allowed, while the Queen wasn't allowed to grieve her dead husband with her family. She had to sit on her own. And she did that out of duty. They would have made an exception for her, but she said, no, I've got to be seen to be following the rules, because you can't, if you make an exception for me, everyone's going to think they can have an exception. And anyone who is rabidly right-wing, to defend these cowboys after 13 years of nothing but sewage is just, it's beyond the pale. I think there's a point where you got to walk away from that argument, having people, because you're not going to reach them. And if people are very, very, very left-wing and they absolutely hate Keir Starmer with every bone in their body, they hate they hate the Labour Party more than they hate the Conservatives, then there's nothing you can do about that. But as Josh said yesterday, there's a good third of people who they're all right. They care and they will change their vote and they will look at things differently if you point it out to them. But it needs to be pointed out to them. That's your job. Indeed. I don't think any of them are watching this. Fuck Up Uni, one Trump twit supporter claimed this was happening while his idol Trump was What was happening to his idol Trump was communism. I bet £100 right now he misuses woke as well. I've completely misread your message there, Freckle Puny. I'm sorry, it's early. Cameron started the rot by letting bad behaviour amongst his ministers go unchallenged. I can't remember which one. The fact that both Boris Johnson and Priti Patel were both found to have breached the ministerial code by independent people and then just stayed in their job. I mean, that's just beyond, isn't it? You breached the ministerial code, for bullying in the case of Priti Patel, but we're going to let you stay on as Home Secretary. And let's go out and support anti-bullying week, shall we? We'll get a bully to sit there and say, I shouldn't bully people, even though they're a bully themselves. Like Dominic Raab might well be. I think he will. Breaking news, SMP. What's going on? Oh, shit. There you go. Sturgeon's husband arrested in SMP finance probe. There you go. Peter Murrell. Never heard of him. If he's guilty, go to jail. I really don't care. But that's interesting because that's probably why Nicola Sturgeon chose to step down, because she must have known about that. So that makes a bit more sense. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump, easy to get them mixed up, has also said in his statement last night in Mar-a-Lago, he said the US is going to hell. It's going to hell. Yeah, with him in charge, it will be. Jeff True says increasing Train fares, council tax, not inflationary. Giving the poorest in society below inflation pay rises is inflationary and a danger to society. This is Tory economics. Indeed, it is. The Weatherspoon magazine was always so sticky. Oh, God. I don't want to think why. I don't know who the owner of the Weatherspoon. I went there, one more place to go. Run by Weatherspoons is run by Wurzel Gummidge, horrible, vile man. Yeah, there's a guy called Tim Martin who is a privately educated Brexiteer who, bought a load of pubs with his daddy's money, and he's amazing. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He's an amazing entrepreneur. You need to know how amazing an entrepreneur can be when they're given loads of money off their dad. I have a photo of me throttling Cameron at Madame Tussauds. I hated Cameron, which is plumbed off. Yes, I think we all did. I got 4% pay rise. It equates to £10 a month. More. What a joke when council tax is 5% and food is through the roof. Yeah, plumbed off. You're absolutely right. It's an absolute disgrace what they have done to this country, what they've done to the people of this country, and what they've done to our, society and economy. They've ripped it apart because all Tories know how to do is to destroy. They don't know how to create. They don't know how to make anything better. They only know how to destroy, to make things worse. Why should Trump be worried about the US going to hell? He can meet his mentor in the flesh, says Freckle Puny. So this is interesting about Sturgeon's husband. Nicola Sturgeon's husband has been arrested in an SNP finance probe. He's taken into police custody on Wednesday morning. Police Scotland said, this morning. Police Scotland said, is that an order? Police Scotland, said officers were carrying out searches at a number of addresses as part of the investigation. So yeah, fine, good. Send him down. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to defend anyone who commits a crime, goes to jail, goes to court. And, if they get off, I think that they deserve to get off, then, fair enough. If they don't think they deserve to get off, like Oscar Pistorius or O.J. Simpson, then I'm gonna still think they were guilty. Yes, especially when they go to jail for something else. Connected. Super chat from David Falconer. Nicola Sturgeon's husband has been arrested over SNP funding. Like I say, yep, fine. That's fine with me. It's not that I'm not listening. It's just that I don't care. And then let's just have a look before I go to see if there's anything else I need to tell you, because basically it was all about Trump, wasn't it? Peter Murrell has been arrested. Macron arrives in Beijing to discuss Ukraine with Xi. And Zelensky arrives in Poland. That's to do with the Russia-Ukraine war. Again, US going to hell. We've got that. Teaching 1 in 3 young teachers in England skipping meals to make ends meet. Yeah, and you still have people calling into LBC saying that teachers are lazy. Yeah, none of the teachers I know are lazy, so I don't know who they're hanging out with. And also, we've seen today that more data came out about women being paid less than men for the same job. This was something that started being published a few years ago in order to make the gender pay gap smaller. And under the Tories, it got a bit bigger, and now it's the same size that it was 5-6 years ago. Yeah, progress. Tories don't know how to create anything. They only know how to destroy. Canal, super chat. Thank you very much, Canal. Wall to wall, conservative sleaze, rivers of sewage towards a paddle. Indeed. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be back tomorrow for another morning brew with me brew. I'll put it in this cup because I've been doing it for the last week and a half. And basically, by the time I get halfway through my show, if my tea is in a normal mug, it's cold. So I've got a choice. I can either down it in the first 5 minutes, and then if I need to, take a drink, as you do when you're talking a lot, I'm stuffed, or I can drink cold tea, and I hate drinking cold tea. It'd be a cold day in hell before I drink cold tea with glee. Much calmer today, says Andy C. Thank you very much, Andy. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 for another morning brew. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks to all my YouTube members and my patrons. There's a new patron that is going on live soon. If you want to register for that, I'm just going to type in the link and you can click on that. And if you're already a patron on my Graham Hughes Patreon, don't worry about becoming a patron on the Labour Social Patreon. You're going to get loads of things anyway, so don't worry about that. But I'll just, let's see if I get this I'm not very good at multitasking, like talking and then typing stuff in. Oh no, I put Labour Scouser instead of Labour Social. Oh, that's better. There you go. So if you go to patreon.com, Labour Social, that's a new Patreon set up for Labour Social. It's a waiting page at the moment, so you can register your interest if you want to. Otherwise, I will be, Nick and Diff says really enjoying these morning brews. Oh, thank you very much. Right, it is 4 minutes past 10, so I think the adverts are probably nearly finished on LBC, so you can head over and listen to James O'Brien, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9:30, and until then, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.